fault. Because they're just lazy, you know? Like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm bad at my job. It's not like my job could be even easier than it is, but it isn't because of your dumbass decisions. Like if it wasn't for a few things, then you know I'd be perfectly fine with my job, and I feel like I would enjoy it a lot more. But the way things are, it's not going to change. It's never going to change. I've been there since high school. I've been there since I was like 17. If things would have changed, they'd had like 4 years to have an opportunity to try and change things to make things better. And it's not going to happen. I'm just going to continuously make my life harder. There's nothing I can do about it. And I've come to accept that. Now you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, what do you mean by that? I work in online grocery. So you can either go out to the floor and pick stuff, and pick groceries there for customers that are coming by at like a certain hour, or you can give customers their groceries. And the orders are rarely ever small. At least back then they weren't. Especially during COVID, when because like people weren't allowed to come inside the store and to work there. So we were like hugely busy. And they would implement all these like stupid, silly changes that doesn't do anything to make my life easier. Like for example, my very first manager when I got there basically took our department and set it on fire continuously and just was allowed to have it be on fire continuously until they had enough of him for whatever reason somehow. Not sure how you let a person not sure how you let like one guy destroy an apartment that bad. Like things were so bad, like me, other people, so many others were doing straight 8-hour shifts. No breaks, no lunches, no nothing. It's just, it is what it is. Because it would be so busy and there'd be so many customers, you'd never get the chance to take a break. Because if you did get a chance to take a break, no, you just never got the opportunity to. Because you know, you bond with a lot of the people that you worked with, you know. You don't just want to leave them high and dry all by themselves to deal with this trash fire. Like you can put as much water on the fire as you want, but like at the end of the day, if the guy is spraying so much gasoline on it that you physically can't extinguish it, and like the best you can do is just pick up a bucket and just try and help them out the best you can. This is the best I could describe it. Like for example, a really stupid change they added is that we weren't able to prep orders ahead of time. So like if a customer was coming at a certain hour, and we could like prep orders for like before they came, so that way when they did come, it'd be just a little bit faster. But one day my manager came in and was like, "We're not doing this anymore, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you do it, then you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get written up. You're gonna get all these things." And it's just like, why? Why would you implement this obviously really stupid change? He's like, too bad. It is, well, it's from the office or it's from me or whatever. And I feel like this change is better. Really? And I feel like this change is going to make us better and you're going to have to deal with it. And if you argue with me about it, then even if you argue with me about it, it's not going to change. so there's no point. It's like, why even waste your energy? And surprisingly, things got worse. We were slower. Job was harder. And when there were like tons of customers in the parking lot, we were unsurprisingly very slow. And we couldn't do it as fast as we used to compared to like just grabbing an order and taking it outside. Because like another things that are the reason why we would organize or prep orders ahead of time is because our department was super unorganized. Because people who pick the order, they're supposed to organize it. Most of the time they just don't. Why they didn't? I don't know. Laziness. Considering they weren't on a time crunch like we were. I'm not sure why they did it. And the picking team wouldn't really deal with any of the consequences of their actions. Like if everything was everything was unorganized and hard to find, it would take like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes just searching this entire department just for like one thing that's missing, that's out of place. Or there probably isn't even like stacked to begin with. Is in some ludicrously hidden place. The pickers wouldn't have to deal with that because they would never dispense. Because like some people who pick just refuse to ever dispense. They're just like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm never gonna do that. And you're not gonna make me do that. Because like they signed some special contract or something. It's not what they signed up for. So they just wouldn't do it. And because of that, they never felt the impact that like dispensers had to. I'm not gonna say which store I work in. I'll try and find it. Wouldn't be very fun. I'm not going to, because like, I don't know. I don't want to get sued for anything. I'm sure if you search, you'll probably find it. No. But like anyway, they'd never suffer any of the consequences of their actions, so it would never change. And even when they were told to like actually do like some organizing and to make sure that what they pick is actually assembled together, they wouldn't do it. They'd just be like, okay, and then just not do it anyway. Yeah, just and above and plus that, we were also extremely busy back then. We'd have so many orders an hour that were ridiculous. Because like even though we have so many orders, we don't have enough people to actually fill that quota. You'd either have like 1 or 2 people at most ever during like a single hour. And when it was busy, like other people who could help you, unless they were your friends, they would just go away and pretend like they didn't see anything until things are calm. They can sit there on their phone. I remember one particularly bad day. It was in the middle of winter. It was just me and 2 other people. I used to close all by myself. All the managers would leave. Everyone else would leave. I would come and people would just say, bye! Have fun for the rest of the day. And you'd have like... No, it would just be me back then. And sometimes I'd rarely have one other person helping me close. But most of the time it was just me. Like, I didn't even have a manager to help me close. It would just be, like, it was just like me as a 17-year-old high schooler closing this entire department with, like, with no help. If there was a problem with an order and I needed a manager, it was just, I couldn't get one. Not because I didn't want, like, not because I didn't want to, like, not be able to help them. It's just, I don't have the ability to help you and edit orders or something. and you have to call tomorrow because there's physically nobody else here but me. And you just have to call back like in the morning when there would be a manager, because we never had a closing manager. Well, we used to have a closing manager, but yeah, he got fired for a reason. And he wouldn't really even be a closing manager. He'd be there until like he'd be there until like 7 or 8, and then just be like, okay, bye. I'd be left all by myself for like the next 2 hours, like do everything all by myself, to do returns, do orders. Had to be. I remember being like at the other side of the store, receiving a call that like a customer had come, had to drop everything, go to the other side of the store quickly, because like they time me, like how quickly dispense. I don't really care anymore because it's numbers. It doesn't mean anything, and nothing's ever going to change. Well, things are better nowadays, so I guess things did change. You know, back then it's like there's nothing I could do. It was just me, a one-man show. Nobody else is gonna help me because there's physically nobody there to help me. Oh, did I? Yeah, it would just be me, and there's nobody else to help you. Nobody else would help split the load. It would just be you. In that case, that was me. And I did it for like a year. I'm just thankful that like during like 9 or 10, adults actually wanted to be at home and not be at like some grocery store just picking up their order at like 10 o'clock at night. It's like the one time that adults actually have something to do. I'm just saying, the busier adults are and the people who have actual jobs are, the easier my job is. And I'm okay with that. Because I just get paid. Because then I just get paid to sit around and do nothing. And I remember one really, really bad night. It was in the middle of winter. It was just me and 2 other people closing. That one person was gonna be there for like 3 more hours, and then they were done. And I was closing all by myself that day. And they said to go on their lunch pretty late, which I'm okay with. Like I'm not gonna manage other people's lunches. They're grown ups. They can take responsibility for whatever. And plus, it was late in the day, and we weren't expecting like a lot of orders. So and it was just me for like the next hour. And I'm pretty sure when he got back, I was gonna go on my lunch. And then when I got back, it was just done for the day. That'd be it. So it was in the middle of winter. It was just me and him. He goes for lunch, and then all of a sudden we have all these customers come out of nowhere. And bear in mind, our manager could schedule more people. Like he can see the forecast of like how many customers we're gonna get for like a certain hour on a certain day. So he just scheduled more people. But he just didn't. He just didn't. Things go as they are. And and it was a full parking lot, just me, in the middle of winter, which and it was really bad. And like I had people like coming up to me being like, "Yo, if you, I'll give you a tip if you like do my order faster," and I'm like, I can't, because if I do your order quicker, then like other people in my department are gonna get mad at me. And it was just me all by myself in the middle of winter. My department's completely on fire. I have nobody helping me. I'm struggling to keep up with all these orders. I don't want to be there. I'm really upset. I'm trying to stay like calm and professional, obviously, because you're at a workplace. My manager comes by, sees the situation, and just walks away and pretends like he didn't see anything. Nice. And just like pretended to see nothing, and just did that over and over and over again. And I tried asking him for help, but like he would just walk away and pretend like he didn't hear anything, and then and just he never comes back until like until the other guy comes back from lunch, and by then I'd somehow like the customers eventually just stopped coming because like it wasn't their hour to pick up their order. And things just naturally slowed down after I just continuously dispensed orders, stressed out of my mind. And then by the time he came, I was like, yeah, I'm going for lunch. I'm so done. Like, and then even when he got back from his lunch, I was still dispensing for like a few more minutes. And I'm like, can you please just help me for like a little bit? I have like a full parking lot outside. I have nobody but you here to help me. I've been doing this for like an hour all by myself. And our manager obviously won't help us, and it's just pretending like the situation isn't even happening. It was just like, oh my god. And then later that night, he comes to me. He's like, your numbers are really down. Our store is not making good numbers, and I think it's because of you. And I'm like, maybe if you were to help me, maybe if you scheduled more people, and it wasn't just me closing all by myself, and it wasn't just me and one other person for like the next like 2 hours. Like maybe things would have gone better and you could have looked better. But no, instead you have to come to me and say that I'm your number one problem. Like I'm obviously intentionally trying to make you look bad all the time, every day. And it's like, maybe if it wasn't for all your stupid changes that are making me slower, maybe you just helped out just a little bit, even once, then like maybe things would be like okay for once, and you wouldn't have like a department that's like constantly on fire. Like, do you like having a department on fire? Do you like just? I don't know. It's just when they make my life hard for no reason. It's like, argue, you could have seen what things were like. You could have stayed back. You could have helped me. You could have scheduled more people. You could have done something. You could have sent people from other departments to help me, but nope. You gotta pretend like nothing's happening, and then come back when everything's calm again. And this kind of thing has happened a few times. Like this exact same situation, except in the summer, so it wasn't cold. Thank God. Happened with me and a buddy of mine, where it's like ridiculously busy. Because like it's not like a one-person job; it's like a 4-person job. Because we had a massive parking lot, we had a ton of customers. What am I doing? Let me get to this level quickly. Like it's a 4-person job that I'm trying to do, and you're trying to lecture me, being like, oh no, being like, you're doing so badly. Like, yeah, maybe it wouldn't be doing so badly if I had other people actually helping me. So this situation kind of happened. It happens all the time in my workplace. Well, it used to happen at least. Thank God it doesn't happen anymore. I'm not sure how. I would survive. But like, the exact same situation happened to me and a buddy of mine. We're trying to put out this garbage fire that's currently going. It's currently being dumped on with plenty of fuel. I think so. Like every time you dispense an order, like another customer comes in just to fill in that spot, and you're still behind. Like things would be so bad. Customers would be waiting outside for like more than half an hour. For 30 minutes, customers would be waiting outside. And it's just because there's one person working. Like even when there's 2 people, it would still be horrifically bad. What's going on? So as I was getting to, me one other person we're doing this job all by ourselves. We're behind. People have been waiting in the parking lot for like an hour, and we're trying to get to them, like slowly doing orders. And eventually things finally calm down. And once again, our manager is coming in and out, pretending like he's not seeing anything. We're asking him for help, and he's just ignoring us, pretend like he isn't hearing us. And then eventually, when things do calm down, we sit down, and then we get a lecture about then we get a lecture and talking to because we're like sitting down on a job being lazy. And it's like it's just like ignoring like what's going on here. It's just so frustrating because like it's making my life hard for no reason. And it's so frustrating, and I hate it. Oh my god. Once again, over the years things have gone better. And thank God. Thank the Lord. Because I'm not too sure what I would do if like the workplace was still like that. It's ridiculous. Like even though things are better, like even last week was pretty bad. Because I had been up for 2 days because of my schedule. I was working. I remember one day I was working 3 days back to back. I was working. I worked 5 a.m. one day, which was fine, and then I worked 12 to 8, which is also fine. You know, the next day, because you have rest time between that. You know. But the day after my 12 to 8, I had a 5 a.m. So I just got no sleep, and I was awake for like 2 days straight. Why am I playing the game like this? That's where I'm like playing bad. But yeah, so I was up for 2 days, and I was understandably completely exhausted. I'm technically not allowed to do that, but I spoke to them a week earlier. Spoke to my manager a week earlier, being like, "Hey, can you change my schedule?" And because like times are kind of ridiculous. I obviously thought in like a nicer, more professional way. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll change it." And then a week, and then I messaged them, and like nothing has changed. My schedule is still bad. I messaged them the day beforehand. I messaged them the day. Well, not just the day beforehand. I messaged them 2 days before. And they're like, "Oh, you should have said something earlier." I'm like, "I told you last week about this horrible schedule that I didn't want to work." And nothing changed. And they're like, "Well, you should have said something before." I'm like, "I did." It's not hard. It's up for 2 days, and I was so ridiculously tired. I had to do something on Monday, and I fell asleep, and I got in trouble because of it. That's just so ridiculous. And they scheduled me that like this again this week. I'm working 12 to 8, both days, like Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm working 5 a.m. I sent them a message. I told them a week beforehand, and like still nothing's changed. So I'm gonna call them earlier today and be like, "What's up? Are you still changing this, or is this just gonna happen again?" Anyway, it's my rant. Like thankfully things at my workplace are like way better now. Like we don't have people. Like we had people working 8 hours straight on a regular, like every single day, like coming in. And I'd be like exhausted after from school. Anyway, I think it's pretty much my rant out of the way. I'll finish this real quickly. Wop. This is my rant. Well, I'm hoping to do more of these. I have like a few story times I want to do. Because working at retail for 4 years, it gives you some interesting stories. If you want to start a YouTube channel where you just tell stories, an easy way to do that, I'd say, just get a retail job, and you know, you'll meet all these crazy people. If you're in retail, kudos to you. I will have respect for you instantly because of that. So all the bullshit. Like, I remember just coming into work one day and just getting stopped by this random customer being like, because I think I looked particularly miserable that day. Because it looked dead when I come into work on like Saturday. Because that means I'm working for 3 days at this place I don't want to be at. I don't enjoy being there. And this customer said to me, you know, I know you hate it, but your wife is gonna. But when you divorce your wife, she's gonna be here for the rest of her life. And I'm just like, well, where is this coming from? Like, I have this old lady just telling me that, like, I'm gonna have a wife, and then I'm gonna divorce my wife, and she's gonna have to do this stupid job for the rest of her life. So I better enjoy it. It's just like, it was so random because I was locking in for my shift. I was locking in for the weekend, being like, all right, do this, just stay alive. When things are over, they'll be over. And I just have this random like woman just coming up to me and lecturing me. Customers will do that for whatever reason. They'll just come up to you and just start lecturing you for no reason. It's weird. I don't like customers. Customers are rude. Yeah. Except for the nice customers. They're nice. Anyway, I guess that's my rant. Bye!